Yes, I'm so excited to get started on this project. It's going to be absolutely amazing. The kids are still asleep. Maybe I could work on it for half an hour before they wake up.
4 to 6 weeks later.
Yay, I get to work on my game. I mean, there's 100 bugs and the whole thing sucks, but making games is pretty cool. Guess I'll get started right after I finish this show.
6 months later.
I don't wanna... Hey guys, welcome. So I'm in an interesting position that I have never been in before. I'm starting to hate my game, and this has definitely led to some challenges for me. It's hard to want to sit and work on something that's mentally draining when you hate it. And this led me to really wonder, how am I going to finish this game if my motivation is already starting to disappear? It's only been 6 months and I already want to move on to another project. What is that? So an interesting thing that I've come to realize since starting development on our game Veil of Maia is that game development is such an emotional challenge. I knew that it was a technical challenge where I was always going to have to learn new things and constantly improve my skills, but I didn't expect it to be such an emotional journey. So first, let's talk about why motivation to work on your game isn't always going to be there. And then I'll share what helps me keep chipping away and working on it even when I really don't want to. You're not lazy. It's not because you have bad habits or even that you're doing anything wrong at all. You're going to have trouble with motivation when you're working on your game because you're human. If you look deep inside yourself, you're going to find that every human being on this planet lives with the same core fear. The fear that they're not good enough. We all want to make our mark and be somebody, and we all have fears that we're not good enough to do that. And I don't know what it is about making games, but that fear in me is alive and well every single day, and the longer I stick with the project, the louder that fear becomes. We're taking huge inspiration from Hollow Knight and Ori and the Blind Forest with our game, and those games are astounding. Particularly with Hollow Knight, I didn't just play that game and enjoy it. There was a flare of magic I felt when I was playing that game. All I wanted to do was play that game. It consumed me for a little while. It's not even something I can describe with words. That game made me desperately want to explore more of the world and fight even more bosses and just do more. I wanted more of that game. And then there's my game. When I'm not working on the YouTube channel, I'm working on the game. And I can tell you that when I'm working on the game, that feeling of magic that I described, it's not there right now. Anxiety and almost this like heavy despair is what I've been feeling lately. And I think a big part of the problem is that I'm comparing my game to other games. And not only my game, but I'm also comparing myself as a developer and how slow progress has been and how fast other developers are, or more talented, or they have better ideas. Now, I am super passionate about making games. Like, I have to actively try really hard to not always be talking about it because it's always on my mind. And so how can someone like me who is obsessed with making games be feeling so deflated and unmotivated to work on a game that actually shows potential as a commercial product? Another reason I think is because the more work I put into this game, the more it's becoming a part of my identity. My identity has slowly become, I am the developer of Veil of Maia. And now my self-esteem is wrapped tightly around the progress of our game. And I know this is true because of how sensitive I am to criticism. Like, it's bad. I shouldn't be allowed to be making videos on YouTube because honestly, one little comment about the game can ruin my entire day. And currently, the state of our game is actually a little bit scary. There are dozens of things that need to be redone from scratch. With every new feature that I add, dozens more bugs get added into the game. I even have to go back to the basics and improve a few simple things like player movement. And so right now, my self-esteem is wrapped tightly around something that is broken, buggy, incomplete, and, you know, ultimately just a game. And now, anytime any little problem comes up, I have to fight off thoughts like I have no business doing what I'm doing, or that I'm not smart enough to be a game developer. And so when I lay it all out like that, it's obvious to me as to why I'm having trouble staying motivated for this game. So, what can we do to help turn things around when we're feeling like this? You are not your game. It's awesome that you have so much passion about your project, but you are just one person trying to figure out how to make an awesome game. That means that you are allowed to make mistakes and you are allowed to have ideas that don't always pan out. Just because you don't get everything right on your first try doesn't mean you aren't meant to be here. I actually don't have any friends that make video games, so sometimes I see myself as a bit of an outsider compared to other developers. And I'm being 100% sincere when I say this, but when I'm having moments of doubt, and I'm comparing myself to other developers, it's like it's my first day on the job. Like I'm a lawyer and I just graduated from law school and it's my first day at this huge firm, and they're all there in their fancy suits talking about mergers and acquisitions and all of this fancy lawyer stuff that I don't even understand. And I can't even find my way to the bathroom, and my suit is from Walmart, and my briefcase is completely empty except for a peanut butter sandwich that I made for lunch. Hopefully that makes sense. What I'm saying is it feels like I'm pretending 100%. When I'm having moments like that, I actually feel like this picture sums up what helps me pretty well. Honestly, I try to remind myself it's just a game. You're making it so that people can have fun and be entertained. That's all I want. If I hand somebody a controller and I ask them if they want to play my game, I just want them to have a good time. So try not to take everything so seriously. If you're stepping up to your computer and you're working on your game, then you're doing awesome. And you deserve to be called a developer no matter where your skill level is at. Getting feedback on your game is difficult. It's hard not to take it personally. So whenever I get feedback on my game, I try to immediately ask myself the following question. Are they in the target audience for my game? And if so, would using that feedback improve my game or take away from it? That's it. I try not to take it any further than that. And if they're not in your target audience, it settles that. The game wasn't meant for them. So their feedback shouldn't even be taken into account. And if they are in your target audience, just know that they are not criticizing you. They are just criticizing one little aspect of your game. They don't have your vision, and they don't have any context other than what they just played. But if their feedback is valid, then consider it. It's your game, your decision. But know that people that are giving you critical feedback on your game, they're just trying to express a feeling that your game gave to them. And if it was a feeling that they didn't like maybe your game made them feel frustrated on something, that's not their fault for feeling frustrated. Something in the game made them feel that way, and maybe it was by design. But you'll want to take note of what they're saying, and you don't have to take it personally. It's just another way to potentially make your game even better. If you're enjoying the video, then please give it a like. It really helps us to grow our channel, and we really appreciate it. Thank you. I love goals. I'm a goal-oriented person. But that being said, I think that sometimes goals can hinder our productivity and actually make it less likely that you're going to finish your project. Most games are going to take you a long time to make. Full-time, part-time, either way, you're usually talking about years. And making goals for something that huge in scope with so many variables, let's just say that things are going to go wrong. You will make goals that were actually unrealistic to begin with, you just didn't know it, and it can feel really defeating when you're constantly missing deadlines and not completing your goals on time. What I try to focus on are habits and small chunks of time. Doing devlogs are actually really helpful to me personally because it forces me to really hyper-focus on whatever it is I'm working on for that devlog, and it keeps me on track. I have a set time each day where I work on my game, and even on days where I really don't feel like working, I'll go make myself do work anyways, because once you're sitting down and your project is open in front of you, you actually get into it. I heard a saying once, action breeds more action. Inaction breeds more inaction. And I can tell you, at least from my own experience, this is 100% true. Because honestly, you know when I really don't want to work on my game? When I'm sitting on the couch not working on my game. When I'm actually on my computer working, it's great, and time just slips away from me. I'm not saying don't make goals. Goals give you a good direction to head towards. I'm just saying zoom your focus in on something that's more immediate and more within your control. Your habits are within your control. Might as well try to form some habits that are going to make you a kick-ass game developer. This is your game, your vision, and you want your game to be as awesome as it can possibly be. And because of that, you are going to have insanely high standards for your game. And because of how high your standards are, it's going to feel like nothing is as good as you actually want it to be. So your whole game feels broken and crappy, basically. It's my experience that things usually feel this way for the majority of development, and everything kind of starts coming together in the end. But up until that point, it's almost like a fragmented hard drive. You just have little bits of working pieces scattered all over the place, but none of them fit together just yet. This is normal, and it doesn't last forever, and it does not make you a bad developer. Remember that. I hear a lot of developers talking about never have a 0 day, meaning never let a single day go by where you don't at least put a little bit of work into your game. And I understand the premise behind that philosophy, and different things work for different people. That's also actually a really great way to establish good habits if that's what you're trying to do. But to me, that feels like a slippery slope towards hustle culture. That's the culture where if you're getting like more than 4 hours of sleep a day, then you're not working hard enough. That doesn't feel healthy to me. The thing is, everyone is different, and some of you are going to work way better on a flexible schedule. My wife works really well like that. She does not work during her allotted time to work if she doesn't feel like it, but she always makes up the time later on, and she always gets her tasks done on time. She focuses on tasks by a certain date rather than a certain number of hours put into each day. I can be pretty rigid, and I like to have a schedule where I work from this time to this time. Either way, no matter which way you work best under, you need days off, and they need to be guilt-free days off. That part's important. You don't want to break your good habits, and you don't want to indulge in resistance to working, but occasionally you're going to need space from your project. I try not to work on weekends. It doesn't always work out that way, but I try not to. You need days off where you're not a developer and you're going to enjoy other aspects of your life. You're going to come back to your project refreshed and with more energy if you give yourself a little bit of time off once in a while. You do not need to work 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Honestly, the older I get, the more I realize that perspective is everything. This is something that I get to do versus this is something that I have to do. That distinction can change your entire day. When you have to do something, some small part of you almost wants to like rebel against it. I don't know what it is. It's just human nature, I guess. When you get to do something though, then you're going to want to do that thing and you'll feel grateful for getting to do it. So now you're getting work done and you're feeling better about it at the same time. Maybe this sounds kind of corny to you. That's okay. I don't mind if it does, because honestly, this is the thing that helps me more than anything else. Every morning when I wake up and all the stress of the day hits me and I'm mentally running through all the lists of things that I need to get done, I try to remember to take a deep breath, and even if it's just for a moment, remember that I get to do these things. I'm a game developer. I get to figure out how to squash these bugs today.